The first thing my CEO wife, Isabel Sterling, did after regaining her sight was to ask me for a divorce. Everyone thought she was ungrateful and cruel. For 3 years while she was blind, I had cared for her every need. I even risked my own health, pioneering an experimental treatment to cure her eyes. But now, facing her cold, distant demeanor, I felt no sadness, only a strange sense of guilt. In the living room of our penthouse, Isabel looked at me and spoke. "Jack," she began, "I'm grateful for everything you've done these past 3 years. But our marriage was a business arrangement. You acted as my husband to shield me from gossip, and in return, my family's company saved your adoptive parents' business from financial ruin. Now that Cole Hockley is back in the country, I want to be with him. I'm sorry," she continued. "After the divorce, this penthouse is yours. I'll also give you $5 million as a settlement." After saying this, Isabel couldn't bring herself to look at me. My reaction, however, was surprisingly calm. "I agree," I said. Isabel looked up, stunned. There was no screaming match, no angry roar like she had imagined, just my quiet smile. "Don't feel guilty, Isabel. Our marriage was just a contract. I knew from the beginning that you loved someone else. You saved my adoptive parents' company, and for that, I am truly grateful. Let's just end it according to the agreement. I'll take what's mine and leave." I offered her the apple I had just finished peeling. "Want an apple?" For some reason, seeing me so composed left her feeling empty. "Our contract was for 5 years, she said, her voice complex as she took the apple. "We were supposed to divorce after 5 years when the dust settled. It's only been 3. But you're the boss. You have the right to decide everything. I have no say, right?" "I'll find time to move out," I said, ignoring her question. "I won't cause any trouble for you too. And you don't need to give me the penthouse. Just stick to the contract. The $100 million will be sufficient." Once I was back in my room, I finally let out a sigh of relief. The moment Isabel regained her sight, I knew this day would come. During our 3 years of marriage, I knew better than anyone that she could never forget Cole Hockley, her first love. She even called his name in her dreams. When Cole called, and she heard his voice, I knew that no matter how hard I tried, I was destined to lose. I walked to my desk, opened a drawer, and took out a framed photograph. The woman in the picture was a 9 out of 10 look-alike for Isabel. Anyone would have mistaken them for twins. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "For all these years, I've seen Isabel as your substitute. I knew it wasn't fair to her. She was the benefactor who had saved my family. Because of that, I tried my best to be good to her, to repay the debt. I even put my body on the line to test the drugs that would cure her blindness. Now, with the contract ending, I could finally be free from the suffocating guilt. But I truly miss you, Eleanor. Where are you?" I hugged the frame, trying to suppress the pain tearing through me. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. I quickly hid the photo back in the drawer. In 3 years of marriage, this was the first time Isabel had ever knocked on my bedroom door. She had never set foot in here, even warning me multiple times not to have any illusions about our relationship. To her, there was only Cole. When she entered, she saw my rimmed eyes, and a flicker of satisfaction crossed her face. I had been an arts student, a pianist, the kind of melancholic, artistic heartthrob popular online. Seeing me for the first time, Isabel was taken aback. In her life, my looks were certainly top tier, even better than Cole's. And for me, the first time I met Isabel, it was like seeing Eleanor's blonde hair and dazzling smile all over again. It took my breath away. But I confirmed multiple times that Isabel was not Eleanor, just another woman. The price for saving the Dawson family was a 5-year marriage contract with Isabel Sterling, helping her corporation weather the negative publicity from Cole breaking off their engagement. In return, I would receive $100 million. I knew she never loved me, but every time, I would unconsciously treat her as a stand for Eleanor, especially when she was blind and couldn't see me projecting another woman onto her. I felt like a selfish monster, using a blind benefactor to satisfy my own longings. The guilt only made me treat her better, more diligently, as a way to atone. "Jack," she said, her voice sharp, "you know I hate it when people lie to me. Everyone tells me you're madly in love with me. Well, you broke the contract by developing feelings. I won't hold it against you since you cured my eyes. But for you to hide your feelings and treat me like a fool, it's insulting." I was shocked she would say this. I was hiding it for her sake, to not burden her and Cole. "I'm sorry, Isabel," they said, feigning innocence. "I just didn't want you to overthink things." I couldn't tell her the truth that the person I loved wasn't her, that my kindness was a replacement for a love I'd lost. It would hurt her too much. You were never a burden, Jack, she said seriously. I froze, not understanding what she was trying to do. Realizing she'd misspoken, she cleared her throat. Even though I can't love you, I am grateful you cured my eyes. It was my duty. It was in the contract. Jack, she said abruptly, I'd like some tea. Of course. I'll go make you your special blend. As always, I agreed without hesitation. After I left, Isabel didn't leave my room. She observed it carefully. The bed was made with military precision. Besides a wardrobe and a desk, the room was simple and spotless. As someone with severe awe about cleanliness, she felt surprisingly comfortable. Just then, she noticed my desk drawer wasn't completely closed. Compelled by her awe, she stepped forward to close it but remembered seeing me hastily put something inside earlier as if it were my most prized possession. Curiosity got the better of her. She opened the drawer. When Isabel picked up the photo frame, she felt the blood rush to her head. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, I was preparing her tea and giving detailed instructions to the new maid. Mayam, our housekeeper, Maria, said with a sigh, I can't believe she'd choose that man who abandoned her. After everything you've done. But it's all right, Maria. This is a release for both of us. Maria thought I was just being strong. Everyone in the house had seen how devoted I was. Dak. Isabel suddenly appeared at the kitchen doorway, her face contorted with a fury I had never seen before. She stormed in and swept the half-prepared tea service off the counter. Hot tea splashed all over me. I stared at her, stunned. Mayan, Maria cried out in shock. Look at this. Isabel shoved the photo frame in my face. My blood ran cold. I opened my mouth but no words came out. I can't believe you're such a pervert, Jack. I could almost understand you secretly keeping a photo of me, but to photoshop my hair blonde and put yourself in a picture with me. Your actions make me sick. Jack, son, is this true? Maria asked, horrified. Explain yourself. You really need to explain this to me, Jack. I clenched my fist, choosing to bear it all. I'm sorry, Isabel. Her anger peaked. She smashed the frame on the floor. You've disappointed me more than I can say. I don't want to see you again. Get out of my house. The farther, the better. The glass shattered, and my heart broke with it. It was the only photo I had with Elinor, my most precious treasure. I could only lower my head and walk past her. At the door of the penthouse I had called home for 3 years, I took a deep breath. It was finally over. Back in her room, Isabel poured a glass of wine. That bastard, Jack Dawson, she muttered, photoshopping my hair blonde. Since when was he obsessed with blondes? Her phone rang. It was Cole. Her expression softened. Isabel, I'll be back in the country the day after tomorrow. We'll see each other then. Okay, she replied quietly. You don't sound happy. Are you still mad at me? Cole asked, a hint of anxiety in his voice. I've decided to divorce Jack to be with you. Thank you, Isabel. If you don't want to, I can be the one to tell Jack. At the mention of my name, Isabel's mood soured again. It's fine, Cole. I'll pick you up at the airport when you get back. I have to go. She hung up. There was a knock. Maria, the housekeeper, entered. Mayam, should I throw that photo away? It disgusts me, Isabel snapped. But as Maria turned to leave, Isabel stopped her. Wait. Give it to me. Maria handed over the recovered photo. As she left, she hesitated. Mayam, if you're thinking of forgiving Mr. Jack, don't bother pleading for him. I will never forgive such a vile, despicable act. Mayam, Maria said quietly, I just think. The photo looks old. It doesn't look photoshopped. See how the paper has yellowed. It looks like it could be 10 years old. Isabel froze and examined the photo again. Maria was right. It was at least 7 or 8 years old. But she had only been married to me for 3. The woman in the photo, though strikingly similar, had subtle differences. Long blonde hair, a school uniform, a beauty mark between her eyebrows. The pieces didn't fit, and the doubt became a thorn in her heart. She finally picked up her phone to call me and demand an explanation, but then she realized she didn't even have my number. She called her secretary and best friend, Casey. Isabel. It's late. What's up? Casey's sleepy voice came through. Casey, do you have Jack's number? He's your husband. Why are you asking me? Don't tell me you already told him. I told him I want an early divorce. Isabel, I don't know what to say. Casey sighed. Jack is so good to you. He would have died for you. And called. He left you without a word the second you went blind. Now that you can see, he comes running back. Are you addicted to bad relationships? Casey, if you don't have his number, just say so. You know, if you really divorce him, I am taking that handsome man for myself. Casey halved out. Do whatever you want, Isabel said and hung up. The next morning, the breakfast spread was ready, but when Isabel took a sip of her porridge, she frowned. The taste was different. Maria, she called out, didn't you teach the new chef how Mr. Dawson makes this? We tried, Mom. Maria said hurriedly. Mr. Dawson demonstrated it himself many times, but no one can replicate his flavor. Hearing my name, Isabel's irritation returned. I pay all of you so much, and you can't even learn to make a bowl of porridge. Useless. I've lost my appetite. Meanwhile, iPhone rang. It was Casey. Casey. Is Isabel asking you to find me? So you two are really getting divorced. We're working on it. Are you okay? Casey's voice softened. She was angry at her boss and best friend for being so blind, choosing a faithless man over someone so good. I'm fine. How is Isabel? You're the husband, shouldn't you know how she is? Casey snapped. If moved out of the penthouse. Jack, you're an idiot. You're so naive it's heartbreaking. Why don't you fight for her? Just then, Isabel walked into Casey's office, and Casey quickly hung up, leaving me staring at my phone with a bitter smile. Isabel dropped her purse on the desk. Casey, who made you so angry? Just some idiot. So, Isabel, did you really kick Jack out? Isabel paused. How did you know? Have you been in contact with him? Casey quickly fabricated a lie. Well, if you hadn't kicked him out, you wouldn't have called me in the middle of the night for his number, would you? Isabel's anger flared up again. You have no idea what a disgusting thing he did. She told Casey about the photograph. Casey's eyes went wide. He photoshopped a picture of you two together with blonde hair. Are you sure the woman in the photo is you? Here, see for yourself. Casey examined the photo. Isabel, there are no signs of editing on this. And the yellowing. This is easily 7 or 8 years old. The girl looks like you, but she's more innocent. And Jack looks like he's in high school. What are you saying? Isabel asked. That Jack took a photo with me in high school. Casey, you know I went to an all-girls school. There were no boys. This is so weird, Casey mused. Maybe in high school, Jack knew a girl who just happened to look exactly like you. At that moment Isabel's confidence began to crumble. That school uniform, Casey said, pointing. I think that's from Northwood High. I'll have someone look into it. When I arrived at my adoptive parents' house, my mother, Martha, met me at the door. He came. Why did you bring fruit? She said, while taking the bags from me. Your father's in the garden, she said with a sigh. The business is struggling, and he can't sit still. Then she lowered her voice. Jack, Ani, how are things with Isabel? Did she say anything about rewarding you for curing her eyes? I've moved out of her house, I said flatly. Martha's face changed. Something this big. And you didn't discuss it with this. What's all this shouting about? My father, George, came in from the garden, his face grim. When he heard the news, he shot his wife a look. We told you it was a contract marriage. Did you really think she'd stay with our son? She wanted him to leave. What were we supposed to do? But George, he cured her eyes. For her to just kick him out, isn't that ungrateful? And she saved our family, Martha. Without the Sterlings, we'd be on the street. Our son has repaid that debt. What have you done? Martha fell silent. George looked at me. Don't overthink it, son. Just move back in with us. Martha stammered, but George. I don't think we have any spare rooms. Are you kidding me? George exploded. Your son wants to move home, and you say there's no room. Clean one out, throw away some of your old junk. Mom, Dad, don't fight. I intervened. I've already rented a place. I'm planning to go back to being a professional pianist, and I need space to practice without disturbing anyone. Living on my own is the best option. Hearing this, my mother's expression softened. The truth was, even with the Sterlings' help, my family had only avoided bankruptcy. They'd sold their mansion and were now in a small 3-bedroom apartment. I was adopted, and my younger brother was studying abroad. All their money went to him. There was no room for me here anymore. As I was about to leave, my mother pulled me aside. Jack, don't let the Sterlings take advantage of you. You held up your end of the bargain and you cured her eyes. She's being ruthless, so we have to be smart. Demand more money. You hear me? Don't be a fool. Just then, George stepped out and yelled, Martha, Martha, if you dare touch a single dollar of Jack's money, I'll divorce you. George's voice boomed. When the family business was failing, our son, James, was useless, yet you insisted on spending a fortune to send him to some fancy overseas school. Jack is a piano prodigy. When he had the chance to go to Juilliard's scholarship, we'd only have to pay a little. He refused. You let him enter a contract marriage with Isabel Sterling to pay off our debts. Do you have a conscience? And now you want his money too. Martha's eyes turned red. George, watch your mouth. Who said I want his money? I just don't want our son to be taken advantage of. Stop making me sound like a criminal. My head was starting to itch. I was about to intervene when a sleek Maybach pulled up to the curb. The door opened, and a figure with an aura of immense power and style stepped out. It was Isabel. I was stunned to see her here. Isabel. What are you doing here? Jack, we need to talk. Get in the car. She gave George and Martha a cursory nod, then ignored them completely. Once inside the car she turned to me. Well, Gaff, still have nothing you want to explain to me? Isabel, I'm truly sorry. I shouldn't have touched your photo. Let's find a time at the end of the month to finalize the divorce. Just give me back my ID and passport, and I'll disappear from your world. In other words, you admit you deliberately edited that photo. Isabel's voice was seething, her breath coming in short, angry bursts. She raised her hand as if to slap me. I closed my eyes, bracing for the impact. But the expected pain never came. Jack, do you take me for an idiot? She said, her hand froze in midair. I was too angry last night to notice the details. You're still telling me the photo was a fake. I had it professionally examined. There are absolutely no signs of editing. Who is this blonde girl? And why does she look so much like me? The moment I had dreaded had finally arrived. Seeing my silence, Isabel pressed on. You think if you don't talk, I can't find out? Don't make things worse. She's a friend of mine, I said, my voice low. We lost contact a long time ago for the reasons. The first time I met you, I was shocked. You two look so much alike, but you're not related. I didn't say anything, because I didn't want you to overthink things. Hearing the truth, Isabel's expression softened slightly. What's her name? Her last name is Elm. First name, Nan. Could it really be a coincidence that in high school, Jack had met a girl who looked so much like her? Looking at this photo, you cherished her. She was very important to you, wasn't she? Yes, I said, a sad smile touching my lips. She was a very good friend. The sight of my smile made Isabel's heart clench uncomfortably. Could it be that for the past 3 years, all of Jack's care, his warmth, his attentiveness, was it all because he saw me as a substitute for this Eleanor? She wanted to ask, but the words caught in her throat. A woman as proud as Isabel Sterling couldn't bear to hear that answer from my own lips. Isabel, don't misunderstand, I said quickly, a guilty look flashing in my eyes. For these 3 years, I have seriously fulfilled the terms of our contract. You saved the Dawson family, you saved me. It's a debt of gratitude I can never fully repay. I didn't want to explain, because I was afraid you'd read too much into it. My explanation seemed to put her at ease. So, what happened to this girl, Eleanor? I don't know. The year we graduated high school, she vanished without a trace. The only thing I have left of her is this photo. Do you want it back? At her words, I instinctively looked up, a flicker of hope in my eyes. You give it back to me. Isabel had intended to, but seeing my eager reaction, she suddenly felt a stubborn urge to hold on to it. You have to agree to one condition. Anything, I said without hesitation. Name it, and I'll agree. Her heart felt as if it had been pierced by a needle. Anything. Is one photograph that important to you? Jack, don't regret this, she said, then pulled the car over and dropped me off. Before I could say another word, she tossed the photo out the window. I caught it like a precious treasure, my eyes filled with unconcealed joy. Thank you so much, Isabel. Don't thank me yet, Jack, she said coldly, a look of disdain in her eyes. A favor from Isabel Sterling isn't easy to repay. With that, she floored the gas, and the car disappeared down the street. As she drove, Isabel made a call. I need you to pull the student records from Northwood High for the last 10 years. Find me everyone named Eleanor. I want her entire file. Back in her office, her best friend Casey saw her stormy expression. Isabel, my dear, who managed to piss off the Ice Queen today? In my rented apartment there was a piano room with a white grand piano left by the landlord. He'd requested a tenant who was a pianist, and would maintain it, offering a steep discount on the rent in exchange. It was a stroke of luck. I bought a new frame and placed the photo on the music stand, in the spot where the sun hit it most perfectly. Eleanor, I whispered, a lot has happened. I'm playing again. After so many years. I believe if you're still out there, as long as I keep playing, we'll find each other again someday. My fingers traced the image, lost in sweet memories. Suddenly, my phone rang. I saw the caller ID and my breath hitched. It was Professor Audrey Coleman. Jack Dawson, a pleasant female voice said. You have a lot of nerve calling me. Professor Coleman, I'm sorry for worrying you. I don't want to hear your excuses. Her voice was icy. And just so we're clear, I haven't forgiven you. Professor Coleman had been my mentor in college. She saw my talent, calling me a once-in-a-generation prodigy. She fought to get me the single reserve spot at Juilliard, believing I could become a world-renowned pianist. She even came to my family's home, offering to fund my studies herself. And I threw it all away. She was so furious she blocked me on everything. 3 years later, she received an anonymous text. Professor, I still want to play. Is there still a chance? She knew it was me. My decision back then had been a betrayal, a knife to her heart. I smiled bitterly. I know. I have a flight to New York arriving tomorrow at 10 a.m. You will be there to pick me up. Her words stunned me. This is your last chance, Jack. I'm not doing this because I've forgiven you. I'm doing it because I refuse to see a talent like yours go to waste. The hope flared in my chest. I'll be there. Thank you, Professor. The next day, I was waiting in the VIP arrivals lounge. My phone buzzed. A text from her, restroom. Give me 10 minutes. Just then, 2 familiar figures walked into the lounge, Isabel and Casey. Jack, what are you doing here? Casey asked, surprised. Casey. Isabel. What a coincidence. I'm here to pick someone up. Isabel gave me a look loaded with meaning. You're not following me, are you, Jack? Her words stunned both me and Casey. Of course not, I said quickly. I didn't even know you were coming to the airport today. Isabel, you know Jack's not like that, Casey interjected. You can't just accuse people. Before she could finish, a figure rushed forward and threw his arms around Isabel. Isabel, I've missed you so much. I'm finally back for you. It was Cole Hockley. Isabel's face showed a flicker of joy. Cole, not here. People are watching. She gently pushed him away. Having just regained her sight and taken back control of Sterling Industries, all eyes were on her. More importantly, I was still standing right there. A shadow crossed Cole's face, as he was rebuffed. Then he turned and noticed me, feigning surprise. What are you doing here? Did you follow Isabel? She's here to pick me up. If you were a real man, you wouldn't be tagging along. You must have followed her to try and sabotage our reunion. Was Snake? Isabel's eyes narrowed with suspicion. Only Casey defended me. Cole, watch your mouth. He's here to pick someone up. Who's following who? Just as I was about to speak, a clear voice cut through the air from behind me. Jack, sorry to keep you waiting. Professor Coleman, elegant in high heels, strode towards us. I went to her like she was a lifeline. Professor Coleman, let me get your bags. I can manage, she said, still clearly annoyed with me. I've decided to come back. I won't back down this time, I swear, I told her earnestly. She glanced at me. If you dare disappear on me again, I will personally break your hands. I just smiled faintly at her threat. Have you even touched a piano in 3 years? She asked, her tone softening slightly. Very little, I admitted. Disappointment flashed in her eyes. We're going to my place right now. You're going to play for me. I hope you haven't wasted your talent completely. Seeing me so familiar with another woman, a strange sense of danger sparked in Casey. Jack, who is she? This is Professor Audrey Coleman from the Juilliard School. She was my professor. I'm planning to return to the world of piano and continue my studies with her. Isabel looked surprised. You know how to play the piano. Why have I never heard you play? She suddenly felt as if she didn't know me at all. I could only offer a wry smile. Then, Isabel's face flushed with embarrassment. She had just accused me of stalking her. I'm sorry, Jack. I misunderstood. I waved it off. Professor Coleman, however, recognized Isabel. You're Isabel Sterling, aren't you? Your eyes. They've recovered. And Isabel recognized her too. The Coleman family was a powerful dynasty, only a step below the Sterlings. Isabel, let's go, Cole said, irritated at being ignored. It seemed everyone's attention was on me. Professor, we should get going too, I said, not wanting to be an audience to their drama. As we walked away, Cole noticed Isabel's gaze lingering on me. His eyes narrowed dangerously. Isabel, he said loudly, making sure I could hear, that Jack fellow is very strange. Does he have some kind of fetish for being a third wheel? He's just a replacement, And he's acting so arrogant. Professor Coleman's brow furrowed. She glanced at my profile, curious. Casey, however, was furious. Paul Hockley, you're unbelievable. You don't even apologize for misunderstanding Jack. And now you're slandering him. Casey, whose side are you on? Paul shot back. I'm on the side of decency, she retorted. All right, that's enough, Isabel said, seeing the stares from people around them. But her face was pale. Paul's words had struck a nerve. The Cole she remembered was a gentleman. 3 years apart. But had he changed? Sensing her displeasure, Cole quickly softened his tone. Come on, Isabel, don't be angry. I was just jealous. Jack was by your side for 3 years. But I love you so much, it made me uncomfortable. I know he was with you during your hardest time. Now that I'm back, I'll make it up to you. I'll treat you better than ever. He had a very important mission regarding Isabel, and he couldn't afford to mess it up. Casey couldn't stand his phony act and stormed off after us. Jack, I hope you won't take what Cole said to heart. Isabel, look at Casey. You've spoiled her run, Cole complained. Insulting me in front of you, her boss. Isabel sighed. Let's just go home and talk later. Of course, Isabel. Anything you say. In the taxi, Professor Coleman looked at me. So you and Isabel Sterling. What's the real story? I told her everything. She listened, stunned into silence. She knew Isabel had gotten married, but she never imagined it was to me. When the car pulled up to a villa in the exclusive Silverwood Estates, I was confused. This was the very house Isabel and I had lived in for 3 years. Professor, I said, I thought you lived on campus at the conservatory. After you and I had our falling out, I moved out and taught abroad for 3 years. I was just preparing to come back when you contacted me. I heard Isabel lives here. Aren't you two getting divorced? Are you still afraid of her? I didn't catch the jealous edge in her voice. No, it's not that. I'm just surprised at the coincidence. We're in the process of divorcing, and I have already moved out, so it's fine. Let's be clear, Jack, she said, her voice sharp. You let me down 3 years ago. If you lose your nerve again. She made a slicing motion across her throat. Professor, I said seriously, this time, I absolutely will not let you down. Satisfied, she led me inside. I sat at the piano, my long, pale fingers hovering over the keys. The beautiful, haunting melody of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata filled the room. At that moment, a Maybach was passing by the villa gates. Stop the car, Isabel said suddenly from the back seat. What is it, Miss Sterling? The driver asked. She held up a finger, listening to the music wafting from the villa. It was strangely soothing to her agitated mind. She had just had lunch with Cole, and while he'd reminisced about their past, something felt off. He had tried to kiss her, to be intimate, and when she'd pushed him away, he'd gotten annoyed. The gentlemanly Cole from her memories had been replaced by someone who seemed to only think about claiming what he felt was his. I thought this villa had been empty for years, she mused. Everyone who lived in Silverwood was part of New York's elite. She should have known if someone new moved in. She remembered walking these grounds with me when she was blind, her hand resting lightly on my arm as I described the world to her, making her laugh, making her feel safe. Jack. Where is he now? Where did he go with Professor Coleman? Sterling, the driver said. I drove by yesterday, it was empty. The owner must have just returned today. Who lives there? She asked, curious. To play Moonlight Sonata with such fluency, they had to be a famous pianist. A few minutes later, the driver reported back. The owner is a Mrs. Audrey Coleman. Isabel was stunned. Audrey Coleman. Of course, the Colemans could afford a villa here. But the thought of her, of Audrey Coleman, made Isabel's heart twist with an unfamiliar irritation. Was Jack in there right now? Was she playing the piano for him? An image of the two of them, intimate and close, flashed in her mind, and a sour feeling rose in her chest. The last note faded. Professor Coleman sat with her eyes closed, savoring the music. After a long moment, she opened them. You haven't touched a piano in 3 years, have you? Your hands are stiff. Do you regret it? Yes, I admitted, embarrassed. Fortunately, you haven't lost the gift, she said. There's a certainty in your playing. It draws the listener in. Technique can be relearned. You were always a genius. But if you lose that spirit, that conviction, it can never be found again. You were worth coming back for. Her words were the validation I needed. Thank you, Professor. I won't let you down. Frankly, she said, I still haven't forgiven you for throwing away your career to marry Isabel Sterling. It was foolish. I just want to bring glory to the conservatory, and I hate to see talent like yours wasted. She was interrupted by a coughing fit. Eve, the dust in here. I paid for a cleaning service. She made a call, only to discover the company she'd hired went bankrupt 6 months ago. Well, Jack, she said after hanging up, management is sending a crew over, but it'll take a while. Where are you staying? In the Newtown district. Does it have a piano? Nada. Good. Let's go there. I need to hear more. Isabel's Maybach was still parked outside. The driver didn't dare speak. Isabel was lost in thought, not even noticing when the music stopped. It was only when the villa door opened and she saw me and Professor Coleman walk out, laughing and talking, that she snapped back to reality. The driver was the first to spot us. Sterling, isn't that? Jack. Isabel's eyes shot to the window. She saw the genuine, heartfelt smile on my face as I spoke with Audrey. A smile she'd never seen before. Had I ever smiled like that with her? Everyone said I was so in love with her I'd die for her. She used to believe it. But then she saw the photo of Eleanor, and her certainty shattered. In my eyes, was she Isabel, or was she Eleanor? Jack, you drive, Audrey said, tossing me the keys to her Porsche Cayenne. As we approached the gate, we were blocked by the Maybach. Audrey had to get out and negotiate. She tapped on the window. Excuse me, we need to get out. Could you please move? The tinted window slowly lowered, revealing Isabel's face. What a coincidence, Audrey, Isabel said first. I didn't realize this villa was yours. I heard the piano and stopped to listen. Your technique is even more brilliant than before. You're mistaken, Isabel, Audrey replied. The one playing wasn't me. It was Jack. The words hit Isabel like a physical blow. Jack. He could play like that. She was speechless. She had married me purely as a business arrangement, a pawn to save face for her family. She had been blind, broken, and abandoned. How could she have had the mind to get to know the man who was her husband in name only? More importantly, I had never told her. I walked up beside Audrey and looked at Isabel. What are you doing back here? I asked quietly. My simple question made her snap. This is my home, why can't I be here? She yelled, her voice shaking with an emotion none of us could place. We were all taken aback by her outburst. Isabel, don't misunderstand, I said, recovering. I just thought Cole was back. Why aren't you with him? Are you that eager to push me away, Jack? She retorted, her words illogical and sharp. Don't forget your current identity. You are still my husband. Does it please you so much to see me with another man? The air crackled with tension. I felt a surge of anger. She was the one who wanted the divorce. The one who warned me not to have any illusions. The one whose heart belonged only to Cole. Our marriage was a contract, a business deal. For her to say this now was not just unreasonable, it was an insult. Isabel, Audrey said coolly, I was under the impression that Mr. Dawson was already in the process of divorcing you. He's moved out, and Cole Hockley flew in from overseas today. Aren't you afraid Cole would be hurt to hear you speak like this? At the mention of her first love's name, Isabel regained some composure. Jack, she said, her voice softer, come back with me. I shook my head. I have to go practice with Professor Coleman now. We'll talk later. It was the first time I had ever refused her. A wave of indescribable bitterness washed over her. She raised the car window without another word. Let's go. As the Maybach pulled away, I got into the Porsche. Jack, Audrey said from the passenger seat. Are you sure you're divorcing her? Her first love is back. Yet she... I don't know why either, I said, a deep weariness in my voice. After calming down, I felt my tone with her had been too harsh. She and Cole have a difficult road ahead. I don't think her family will approve easily. I had no right to judge. When it came to being hung up on first love, Isabel and I were two sides of the same coin. Late that night, Isabel stood by her study window, swirling a glass of wine. From her vantage point, she could see Audrey's villa. It was dark. They still weren't back. Have you had enough practice yet? She thought bitterly. Where did you go? Dinner. Are you not coming back tonight? She didn't understand why she cared so much. She had made her choice. Her phone rang, and her heart leaped, thinking it was me. But the screen showed Cole's name. The excitement died. Cole. What is it? Isabel, I baked you a Black Forest cake. It was always your favorite. I'm on my way over to your place now. The mention of the past softened her. When she was exhausted from work or school, Cole would always appear with her favorite handmade treat. It was those sweet memories that had kept him in her heart for 3 long years. Baby, you shouldn't come, she said. But Phil asked, his cheerful tone faltering. Isabel, is there someone else in your heart now? What are you talking about? Don't forget, I'm not divorced yet, and my family is not happy about what you did. I need time to sort things out. Then I'll just stop by for a minute, Isabel. I just want to see you eat the cake I made for you. Please? She hesitated, then relented. All right. After hanging up, she glanced back at Audrey's villa. A Boom 7 Series was pulling into the driveway. She forgot all about Cole. I carefully parked the car in the garage. Professor Coleman had fallen asleep in the passenger seat. The day had been long for her. I adjusted the temperature, put on some soft piano music, and closed my eyes. Eleanor, I thought, I am back on the path. It would be perfect if I could meet you again, and you could accompany me on your violin. Exhausted, I drifted off to sleep. Some time later, a tapping on the window woke Audrey. It was Maria, our former housekeeper. Excuse me, Miss Bowden. I'm here to find Mr. Jack. I woke with a start. Maria. What are you doing here? Sterling sent me. She says she has something to discuss with you at the villa. I knew I needed to clear the air after my behavior earlier. Professor, I'll go ahead. I'll call you tomorrow. She nodded, and I left with Maria. In the study, Isabel was sitting on the sofa, a half-empty bottle of wine on the table. You're here, she said, her voice thick. Where were you with Audrey Coleman today? She demanded. Practicing all day wasn't enough. You came back this late, and you even drove her home. Jack, do you know what your status is right now? If people saw the husband of Isabel Sterling joffering another woman home, do you have any idea how that looks? I was baffled. Wasn't this what she wanted? For me to get close to someone else, so she and Cole could be together without my interference. Isabel, this is a contract marriage that's about to end. My relationship with Professor Coleman is purely professional. Let's just find a time to go to the courthouse and finalize the divorce. It's better for both of us. Are you that eager to divorce me so you can be with Audrey Coleman? She cut me off, rising from the sofa and walking towards me barefoot on the plush carpet. The scent of wine and her perfume was intoxicating. Isabel, you're drunk. I don't get drunk that easily, she said, her voice low. Jack, until we are officially divorced, our contract is still valid. And one of the clauses states that you are not to get too close to other women and disgrace the Sterling name. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She was the one who wanted the divorce, who told me to move out so I wouldn't be in the way of her and her first love. And now she was quoting the contract at me. But she was the client, she held the purse strings, and she had saved my family. And she was drunk. Arguing was pointless. Okay, you're right. It's my fault, I said soothingly. Isabel, stop drinking. Under my calming words, she slowly sobered up. Then she said something that threw me completely off balance. Maybe you should move back in. She explained that kicking me out was a misunderstanding, and that until she could convince her family to accept Cole, we couldn't divorce without causing a scandal. It made a twisted kind of sense, but living under the same roof again, with the secret of Eleanor hanging between us, felt like a disaster waiting to happen. But what about Cole? Will he agree to this? I'll explain it to him. He'll understand, she said firmly. Jack, don't you owe me a favor? This is what I want. Continue to maintain our marriage until I can be with Cole. I'll even add another $50 million to your payment. I was cornered. The money doesn't matter, Isabel, I said, my voice resigned. You saved my family. I can do this to help protect the Sterling reputation. But we still have to get a divorce eventually. And I need to pursue my music. That part is non-negotiable. A pained look crossed her face. Do we have to get a divorce? Is it because of Audrey Coleman? Isn't it true that you love me? I knew I couldn't get a real answer from her tonight. Calm down, Isabel. This is the best way for both of us. I turned and left the room. The old butler, Alfred, was waiting outside. Mr. Jack, that Cole Hockley is no good for Miss Sterling. The one who should be with her forever is you. You're giving them too little credit, Alfred. They're a match made in heaven. And he's the only man she's ever truly loved. I am not worthy. I could only offer platitudes, my own heart itching with a truth I could never speak. As I opened the main door to get some fresh air, I saw a figure walking up the driveway, holding a large bouquet of flowers in a cake box. It was Cole Hockley. His smile froze when he saw me. His face darkened. What are you doing here? Didn't Isabel kick you out? Paul, don't misunderstand. I was just here discussing the divorce with Isabel. Jack, I appreciate you keeping Isabel company for the past 3 years while I was away. So, let's do this. Name your price. How much will it take for you to walk away from her for good? Paul Hockley's eyes were dark. In his world, a person from my background wasn't even worthy of being a clown. The irony was, I was better looking than him. He knew Isabel wasn't a shallow woman, but after 3 years of my devoted care, he couldn't be sure that sweet memories alone would be enough to hold on to her forever. I was his biggest threat. Isabel can explain the details to you, I said, my voice wary. The bottom line is, we are getting a divorce. It won't affect your relationship with her. I wanted to take the money and be done with it, but my powerful, unpredictable benefactor wouldn't let me go. I was bound by gratitude, promises, and a guilt I couldn't shake. Paul shot me a warning look. You better know your place. There's only one man in Isabel's heart, and that's me. No matter how much you sacrifice for her, she will never love you. I could only bow my head in silence. Upstairs, Isabel, who had been brooding over our divorce, heard the voices and remembered Cole was coming over. She rushed downstairs. Paul, what are you saying to Jack? Her tone was sharp. Isabel, I just ran into him at the door and we were chatting. When are you two going to finalize the divorce? At the word divorce, Isabel's expression changed. Paul I either didn't notice, or didn't care. His goal in returning was to rekindle their romance. Isabel, these are purple lavender, your favorite. Seeing that he remembered her favorite flower, Isabel's face softened. Paul then turned to me. Jack, this is a black forest cake I made myself, Isabel's favorite. If you don't mind, please have a slice. His words were dripping with condescension. I found the man strange. From what I'd heard, Cole Hockley wasn't the arrogant, entitled type. Apart from breaking off their engagement 3 years ago, he was, in every other aspect, a perfect match for Isabel. In the end, it was her choice. I'm going for a walk, I said, having no interest in being a third wheel to their reunion. Seeing me leave, Isabel, fearing I was heading to Audrey's, blurted out, Jack, stay with us. I froze. What is she thinking? I couldn't understand her anymore. Paul was also taken aback, his face flickering with annoyance. Since Isabel asked, maybe you could humor us, Jack. I'd really like to know how you took care of her these past 3 years, so I can learn from you. My head throbbed. Fine. It was better to get a few things cleared up with everyone present. Paul, acting the part of the host, placed the cake on the table and served slices to Isabel and me. Isabel, this is your favorite part, he said, the honey glazed top. I added wild berries inside. Thank you, Cole. Isabel's heart was touched. He remembered. The man she loved hadn't changed. Her choice was the right one. Any oversteps he'd made earlier were just due to the excitement of their reunion. She felt a pang of guilt for her harsh reaction. She took a bite of the cake, and paused. It was delicious, an improvement on his old recipe. But the cakes I had made for her over the past 3 years were better. The irreplaceable taste of her memories was suddenly replaceable. Is it good, Isabel? Her nod was unenthusiastic, and Cole noticed. A flicker of displeasure crossed his face. His unease was proving to be justified. For him to get Isabel back, I had to disappear. So I acted about the divorce. When are you two going to the courthouse? His question hung in the air, heavy and impatient. I wanted the divorce. He wanted the divorce. Isabel, feeling cornered, the image of the blondie girl who looked so much like her flashing in her mind, slammed her fork on the table. Well, do I need you to tell me how to handle my own affairs? We were both stunned. Isabel, I didn't mean it like that, he stammered. I have my own way of dealing with this. You delivered the cake. Now you should go. Don't let people get the wrong idea. Alfred, see him out. Paul left in a huff, humiliated in front of me. After he was gone, I couldn't hold back. Isabel, you need to think carefully about this divorce. You can't let it affect your relationship with Cole. She stared at me, her eyes boring into mine. Jack, don't you love me? So much that you die for me. Why are you pushing me away? The person you love is Cole, I said, confused by her question. He's your first love. You've already made your decision, haven't you? I really don't understand what you want. My words pierced her heart. Why was she instinctively resisting the divorce? Even she didn't know. This needs careful consideration, she said finally. It affects not just the 3 of us, but the Sterling group as well. I don't want any complications. With that she turned and went upstairs, leaving me bewildered. Isabel, are you going mad? The next day, I was at the Sterling Group building. In her office, Isabel's voice was sharp. Jack, I told you to move back home. Why did you leave last night? I've rented an apartment, and I'm moving my things in today. I won't repeat myself. If you want me to move back, we finalize the divorce first. And you will not interfere with my career. She stared at me, taken aback. This wasn't the compliant, accommodating Jack she knew. Ever since she'd found the photo, I had changed. Was the person I loved Eleanor? Or was it her? You weren't like this before, she said, her voice barely a whisper. For all three of us, Isabel, divorce is the best option. Her composure shattered. Don't forget, Jack, there are still 2 years left on our contract. If you don't follow my orders, you are in breach. I have the right to take back everything I've given you. She took a deep breath, her voice softening. I just don't want any more trouble. We can get a divorce, but not now. Please. You said you owed me. Move back home. We can talk about the divorce later. The mention of the debt silenced my anger. Fine. I'll move back, and we can postpone the divorce. But I'm keeping the apartment, and you will not interfere with my career. She reluctantly agreed. After I left, Casey came in. So, did you talk to Jack about the divorce? I'm not divorcing him, Isabel said, her voice flat. Casey was shocked. Then what about Cole? Isabel, what are you thinking? Don't tell me you're having second thoughts. That you've fallen for Jack. Of course not. Isabel snapped. I love Cole. I always have. Just then, her phone pinged. A message. Miss Sterling, we've almost finished compiling the file on Eleanor. I went to the conservatory. The familiar campus felt like a sweet summer melody. What are you thinking about? Audrey's voice came from behind me. Professor, what a coincidence. I was just about to contact you. I was afraid you'd run off again, she smiled. Come on, let's go to the practice room. She laid out a rigorous schedule for me. I had been gone for 3 years and missed countless competitions. I had to start from the bottom, earning points in national competitions to qualify for the international stage. I was so grateful for her guidance. I could only express it through my music. As it played, a crowd of students gathered outside, drawn by the news that the prodigy, Jack Dawson, was back. My rendition of the Moonlight Sonata was filled with a deep, melancholic beauty that captivated them. When the piece ended, a petite girl with long, dyed blonde hair and a violin case pushed her way through the crowd. Professor Coleman. Wait for me. My breath caught in my throat. She looked exactly like the girl who had saved me in high school. But after a moment, I realized it wasn't Eleanor. Do you know her? Audrey asked, noticing my reaction. I shook my head. The girl, whose name was Quinn, was a first-year violin major. She explained that she had been a fan of my playing for years and begged me to accompany her on one piece. I was about to refuse, a habit born from an old obsession, but looking at her, so much like Eleanor, I found myself agreeing. Our performance, with Audrey joining in, was electric. The video of it went viral, trending on social media. That evening, Audrey and I were having dinner at my apartment. My phone rang. It was Isabel. Jack, when are you coming home? She demanded. When I told her I was with Audrey, she was furious. Why didn't you tell me? Have you forgotten that we're still married? We agreed you wouldn't interfere with my work. This is different. You are my husband, in name at least. If you're seen with a single woman in her apartment, it will reflect badly on the Sterling family. Come home now. I'll find you a world-renowned piano master to guide you. Just stay away from Audrey Coleman. I lost my temper. The debt I owed your family was paid when I cured your eyes. Now, I just want to live my own life. If you still want my cooperation in convincing your family to accept Cole, then stay out of my business. Her voice trembled. How dare you speak to me like that? You were never like this before. What's changed? You chose Cole. You should be focusing on him, not clinging to me with baseless excuses. It's not fair to anyone. Is it because I'm with Cole? Are you acting out because you're hurt? Think whatever you want, I said and hung up. Audrey, who had overheard the argument, smiled to herself. It confirmed her suspicion that our marriage was a business deal, not a love match. When I got back to the villa, Alfred rushed to meet me. Mr. Jack, you're finally back. Miss Sterling is still waiting for you. She hasn't eaten dinner. I found her in her study. I had cooked her a bowl of her favorite noodles and left it outside the door. She opened the door, her eyes blazing. You dare to leave? Then, seeing the noodles, her anger softened. So you do still care about my health? Isabel, I said, we need to talk. You have your sight back. You're reunited with your first love. You have everything. Why are you making things so difficult for me? She didn't answer, just started eating the noodles. When she was finished, she looked at me. The truth is, I don't want to make things difficult for you. But don't forget our agreement. You practicing with another woman, having dinner with her. What if someone sees? You promised you wouldn't interfere with my career, I reminded her. During the day, I'll be out. If you need me to play the part of your husband, just let me know. I'll be back in the evenings. And about the divorce. Let's just get it over with. The divorce. She finally asked the question that had been tormenting her. Jack, is it because you want to be with Audrey Coleman? Are you forcing me to choose between you and Cole? I countered, my voice raw with emotion. Her silence was the answer. At that moment, her phone rang. It was Cole. Seeing her hesitation, I stood up. I've said all I need to say. I'm going to bed. As I reached the door, she called out, Jack, can you make me breakfast tomorrow? Like you used to. But you need to get used to a life without me, Isabel. I can't stay here forever. She answered Cole's call, her mind reeling. He was calling about the viral video. She watched it, mesmerized by the passion in my playing. Cole then proposed a business deal. He owned a short video entertainment company and wanted to sign me as a high-quality streamer. I found out about the video from Audrey. She was going on a business trip for a few days and told me to keep practicing. The fame was unexpected, but if I was going to be a professional pianist, I had to get used to it. Eleanor, I thought, staring at the video, if you're still following the news from the conservatory, maybe you'll see me here. The next morning, I made breakfast. The familiar routine brought a sense of peace to the house. As I was about to leave, the first stopped an attack, said, I have something to discuss with you. She told me about Cole's offer. It's his company. I raised an eyebrow. I refuse. I know you misunderstand him, but don't you trust me? I still refuse. The best arrangement for us, Isabel, is a divorce. I walked out, leaving her with a bitter taste in her mouth. Later that day, I met up with my best friend from high school, Julian. We caught up, and I asked him if he'd had any luck finding Eleanor. He hadn't. Then he pitched me a business idea. He had also started a short video entertainment company and wanted me to be his star streamer. He argued that the exposure might help Eleanor find me. That was the line that convinced me. As we were talking in a tea house, Julian suddenly froze, staring past me. Eleanor. He breathed. My heart leaps into my throat. I spun around, but my hope immediately deflated. It was Isabel, with Cole. What a coincidence, they said, walking over to our table. Julian, flustered, had mistaken Isabel for my long-lost love. Cole, with a smug smile, introduced Isabel as his girlfriend. I tried to leave, but they insisted we join them. The situation was excruciatingly awkward. After they left, Isabel was furious with Cole for his public declaration. He, in turn, revealed that Julian was the founder of a rival company. He accused me of rejecting his offer because I had already found a new partner. The next day, a Ferrari pulled up in front of my apartment. We need to talk. In a coffee shop, he laid his cards on the table. I know about your contract marriage. She's supposed to give you 100 million. I'll give you 200. You just have to divorce her immediately. It's not about the money, Cole, I said, tiredly. I've tried to get a divorce multiple times. She's the one who keeps stalling. He laughed coldly. Don't think I don't know your little games. Isabel told me everything. You're the one who's been using tricks to delay things.